Have you been praying, waiting, and wondering why nothing is changing? Before you give up, hear this truth. God's delays are never God's denials. What if the season you're struggling through right now is actually preparing you for the greatest breakthrough of your life? Stay with me, because by the end of this message, you'll understand why God sometimes makes us wait. Waiting is one of the hardest parts of the Christian life. We pray with all our hearts, asking God to heal, provide, restore, or open a new door. We believe His promises, yet days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and sometimes even years. During those moments, it's easy to ask, God, where are you? You may wonder if He has forgotten you. You may wonder if your prayers are reaching heaven at all. But here's the truth that every believer needs to remember. God has never abandoned you. Just because you don't see Him moving doesn't mean He isn't working. Some of God's greatest miracles begin in seasons of silence. Think about a farmer planting a seed. The moment the seed disappears beneath the soil, it seems like nothing is happening. Day after day, the ground looks exactly the same. But underneath the surface, something incredible is taking place. Roots are growing, life is forming, preparation is happening. The same is true in your spiritual life. While you're waiting, God is working beneath the surface in ways your eyes cannot yet see. The Bible gives us countless examples of people who had to wait before they experienced God's promises. Consider Abraham. God promised he would become the father of many nations. Yet year after year passed without a child. Imagine the questions Abraham must have asked. Imagine the doubts he had to fight. Still, God remained faithful. When the time was right, not Abraham's time, but God's time, the promise came to life. Now think about Joseph. He dreamed of greatness as a young man. But instead of a throne, he found betrayal. Instead of honor, he experienced slavery. Instead of freedom, he sat inside a prison. Construction. If Joseph had judged God's plan by his circumstances, he would have believed his life was falling apart. But every painful chapter was preparing him for the palace. God wasn't delaying Joseph's purpose. He was developing Joseph's character. That's something many people forget. We often pray for blessings, but God first prepares us to handle those blessings. Because receiving something before we're ready can become a burden instead of a blessing. God sees not only where you are today, He sees where you'll be 5 years from now. He knows every challenge you'll face. He knows every opportunity that's coming. And because He loves you, He refuses to give you something before the perfect time. Ecclesiastes tells us that God makes everything beautiful in its time, not our time, His time. Sometimes waiting protects us from making decisions we'll later regret. Sometimes waiting builds patience that success alone could never teach. Sometimes waiting deepens our faith because we learn to trust God instead of our own understanding. If God answered every prayer immediately, we might never discover how faithful He truly is. Waiting teaches us to depend on Him daily. It reminds us that God is not a vending machine who responds instantly to every request. He is a loving Father who always gives what is best at the right time. So if you're waiting today, don't mistake God's silence for God's absence. He is closer than you think. Even now, while you cannot see it, heaven is working on your behalf. Your breakthrough hasn't been canceled. It may simply be under construction. Have you ever noticed that God's greatest blessings often arrive when people have almost given up? Think about Moses. For 40 years he lived in the wilderness as an ordinary shepherd. It must have seemed like his purpose had disappeared forever. Yet those quiet years were not wasted. God was preparing Moses in the wilderness before asking him to lead a nation. The wilderness wasn't the end of his story. It was the classroom where God shaped the leader Israel would need. The same pattern appears throughout Scripture. David was anointed as king long before he ever sat on the throne. Between the promise and the fulfillment came years of waiting, hardship, and uncertainty. Those difficult years taught David humility, courage, and complete dependence on God. Without that season, he might never have become the king God intended him to be. Maybe that's exactly what God is doing in your life today. Perhaps He's preparing you for responsibilities you cannot yet imagine. Perhaps He's strengthening your faith because your future will require a stronger foundation. Remember, God cares far more about who you are becoming than how quickly you arrive. Waiting changes us. It teaches patience. It teaches trust. It teaches perseverance. And most importantly, it teaches us to keep our eyes on God instead of our circumstances. Romans reminds us that all things work together for good for those who love God and are called according to his purpose. Notice it doesn't say some things. It says all things, even your delays, even your disappointments, even the prayers that seem unanswered today. God can weave every part of your story into something beautiful. That doesn't mean every season feels easy. Some days your faith will feel strong. Other days you'll struggle with questions. And that's okay. God is not afraid of your questions. He simply asks you to keep trusting him. When you don't understand his hand, trust his heart. His timing has never failed. Not once. Every sunrise arrives exactly when it's supposed to. Every season changes at the right moment. And in the same way, your breakthrough will come at the time God knows is best. So what should you do while you're waiting? Keep praying. Keep reading God's word. Keep serving faithfully. Keep choosing hope over fear. Don't allow discouragement to steal your expectation. Every day you remain faithful is another step closer to what God has prepared. One day you'll look back and realize that the waiting wasn't punishment. It was protection. It wasn't rejection. It was preparation. You'll see that every closed door guided you toward the right one. Every delay kept you from settling for less than God's best. And every tear became part of the testimony that now gives hope to someone else. If you're in a waiting season today, hear this with all your heart. God has not forgotten you. Your prayers are not ignored. Your future is not uncertain in his hands. The God who brought Joseph from prison to the palace. The God who led Moses from the wilderness to his calling. The God who fulfilled his promise to Abraham. Is the same God walking with you today. So don't quit. Don't lose faith. Don't stop believing. Because your breakthrough is not determined by the calendar. It is determined by God's perfect timing. Hold on a little longer. Keep trusting a little deeper. Keep praying with confidence, because when God opens the door, no person can close it. And when your breakthrough finally comes, you'll understand why the wait was worth it. If this message encouraged you today, write "God's timing is perfect" in the comments. Share this video with someone who's waiting on God, and subscribe for more Bible-based encouragement and Christian motivation. Remember, your waiting season is not the end of your story. Your breakthrough is still coming.